Hey everybody, welcome. I'm Suzanne Gundersen from Screenwritenow, and I'm an inner story coach that helps screenwriters and industry creatives to naturally de-stress and get focused into their creative rhythm and flow, build tremendous confidence, and deepen their emotional worldview into wisdom and truth. That way they can hook every audience. So today's video is a part of my Industry Wisdom Bit series where I'm bringing you television and film professionals to share with us one golden nugget of wisdom or advice that's really helped them in their career. And today we're joined by Erica Land. Erica, thank you so much for being here. Please tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, I'm originally from Houston, Texas, but I'm currently based in Los Angeles. And I'm a commercial property manager by day, but an aspiring supernatural and sci-fi writer by night. And I like to say my superpower is navigating strong personalities and conflict because I'm one of 8 kids, and most of my siblings kind of thought they were the boss of me. So, I kind of got used to sort of like dealing with conflict and adversity a lot. And I really like to put my characters sort of in that same position. I do apologize. There's like ambulance going
It's
on.
life, no worries. That's just a metaphor for how the insanity that you're used to that you can funnel into like being really direct. So that's fantastic. So I know I've seen your name around in the screenwriting world. So please tell me of your experience. Is there a little gem or nugget of wisdom that you'd be happy to share with our audience today?
Sure. Yeah. I mean, yeah, because I definitely had, I've been fortunate to have a few different experiences here. Like I've written for a couple of NBC Sketch Showcases. Last year, I won Robot Writing's Diversity Initiative, and I was a finalist for Writing the Verge, and all that has been like really great opportunities to be able to network and meet people and who can perhaps be a connection to help me move forward in the industry. But one of the things I learned, like maybe in the first few years when I got out here, is don't be desperate for the yes. And by that I mean like so when I first came here, I was very green. I knew really not much about the industry because my background is actually in entertainment journalism. So like I was used to like interviewing people and asking them about their jobs, but had no clues really how to get myself through the door. And so whenever I'd meet like an agent or a manager, I'd be so like, can I send you my stuff? Can I give you the stuff? Da, 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 da. And one other thing I noticed I would do is like, sometimes when I would get really nervous, I would start to talk so fast, like there was that famous guy back in the day who like talks super fast in commercials. Like it would kind of get like that. And I didn't realize I was doing it until I was at this mixer and I was talking to someone, and this woman was watching me talk, and she was just like, oh my God, you talk like a 5-year-old. And I was just like, and I stopped and I was just like, excuse you? Like, what are you talking about? But then I realized what she meant was like, I was kind of talking like the little kids, like when they're telling you a story and they start going like a mile a minute and they don't take a breath. And when I look back at the person I was talking to, I could see like on his face, like, cause his eyes were like real big. I was like, oh my gosh, is that what I'm doing? Is like that why people give me that like look? Because we can get so caught up in like what we're trying to get out of the interaction and conversation that we just totally lose sight of like how we're coming off. Like I actually, it's funny. I was watching something and they put it well. It's like there's a difference between like showing you have desire and passion for something, and that quickly becoming like the desperation for it. And the key I found to fixing that was that when you go into a conversation with someone, don't go into it immediately thinking about like how you can get the yes out of them, but instead like get to know them as an individual. Like ask them like it depends on like the setting, like because if you're at a panel and they've already sort of talked about their background, maybe you talk about something they said on the panel that stood out to you. Or if you're just meeting them cold, you can ask them like, oh, so what do you do? They may say, oh, I'm an agent or something. That's not immediately, oh, can I send you something? You might instead say, oh, really, how did you get started in that? And like get them talking about themselves and actually listen and engage too. Like, and then look for, because the goal can kind of be for them to get that, turn around and ask you the same thing. And then that's where you can turn back and say, oh, well, actually, I'm a writer. I write, supernatural and sci-fi. And they'd be like, oh, that's kind of interesting. Why don't you send me something? And then you get that information, you may ask them one last quick industry thing, and you say, okay, well, I don't want to take up any more of your time. It was so great to meet you. And you make your quick exit, because you don't want to like cling
Linger.
to either and to the point where they change their mind about you. So like, you want to make that good impression and then go. And so that's probably been the thing that's really helped me the most, especially in the last few years, is just letting go of that anxiety and desperation. The yes. And that actually gives me like another thing of like, when it comes to this industry, like when you get a little less desperate for the yes, you really focus on like what you're putting out there. Be more focused on that, because if you're not waiting for someone to validate you and give you that yes, but instead you're like, you're applying to contests, you're doing short films, you're getting your work out there, they're going to come to you anyway. So you're not going to have to be desperate for the yes. They're going to actually want you to say yes. So it's sort of like a reverse psychology in a way. And it's taken me a while to really understand that, because I tend to be a bit of like a perfectionist. And so that's why I'll try so hard to win them over, get the yes. And I really had to learn to like, let that go and just focus on, writing good scripts, delivering good projects, and let that be what's exciting.
And then having a natural conversation with people about it when you finally get an audience in front of you, whether it's just one person at a networking event, but just being in the moment to have a conversation, and then know when the right timing is to kind of, and like you're saying, kind of wrap up and walk away, leaving them wanting more, just leaving on the high note. So
exactly. Yeah.
Great that you figured that out. I'm sure that this is going to help a lot of writers out there who are really desperate for that yes.
I was very hard-headed in learning that, and I still have to be mindful of it, because and it's, you would think like, being that, like I said, I had a journalism background, I would have been better at it, and like it's just so I really had to learn to. And you know what I love about that too is that I learned so much more about people's journeys, that and I sometimes found that was actually more for me to get out of that conversation than me trying to get them to read something. I might pick up something that they did, like especially like another writer who like might say, oh, I this is how I did my short film. And I would just have listened to them sort of tell me that stuff, and I'll be like, wow, okay, that's something I can maybe actually do, and that's attainable. So
you mean actually get to know people?
Yeah, I know, right?
Wow. What an idea. What an
and
idea. I mean, I think
it's such a funny notion, because I think especially in this LA culture, it's all about what we can get, and versus like actually just taking the time to gain something in knowledge. So
exactly. I love that. Thank you so much for sharing that. I think it's going to help a lot of people. And so how can we find out more about what's going on with you now?
Well, you can follow me on Twitter. It's at Erica, ERICA Land. And then I'm also on Instagram at Erica Jane Productions. And I also have a WordPress website. It's ericarrland.wordpress.com. So
Fantastic.
I usually try to I'm actually trying to be better about social media. Twitter is actually a really great way now that, especially we're in this pandemic, to interact and get to know people, and in a way, and it's great for me because I don't have to worry about talking a mile a minute, because they only give you so many characters.
That's true. They limit you. They do limit you.
But it's a great way, get on Twitter, when showrunners or even other writers, post something interesting, comment on it, be engaging, because you never know, that might also lead to something else. So
fantastic. Well, we'll definitely put all your links to your social media handles below this video description. And for everyone that's watching, feel free to pop over to my website, screenwritenow.com, and download your free ebook of 3 steps to get pitch ready. That way you can learn how to get into alignment with yourself and hook your audience with your script. Thank you, Erica, so much for sharing today. And thank you, everybody, for watching. We'll see you on the next Industry Wisdom Bits.